Hello, Southbridge. This is Charles Diaz with Southbridge Community Television, and today we are honored to have our friend to the community and the Senior Center, Patrica Haddock.
Thank you, Charles. I'm happy to be here. It's always a pleasure to be on the cable access.
Awesome. So we wanted to have you on today so you can kind of give us a little bit of just some information, inside look as to what's going on at the Senior Center. I know we're in 2022. We've been in the lockdown for a little bit, and I'm sure that's sort of impacted how the Senior Center has gone. Can you tell us a little bit about what's been going on since all that has been going on?
Since 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were locked down. We actually closed down the day after I became director of the Senior Center, so that was a challenge. For 7 months, the Senior Center Community Center was a vaccine clinic for the region. Our Meals on Wheels director and myself were very involved as making appointments for seniors here, both here in town and throughout the state that came to our center. We did over 50,000 vaccines in those 7 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a trying time, but you know, it was a good work.
Yeah.
So we reopened last September, and then the numbers crept back up again in November, so we closed again for a few months. But now we are open. We have several groups that have come back. We're still not 100%, but slowly but surely, the seniors are coming back, which is wonderful to see.
So tell me a little bit about that time. How were you able to interact with the seniors during that time where they couldn't come into the Senior Center?
A lot of it was done via telephone, doing wellness calls, making sure people were okay. We did some Facebook programming.
Which I'm sure was
Challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Southbridge seniors are not connected to the internet.
Right.
So that was our big challenge. A lot of senior centers had a lot of people that were able to connect and do groups and everything else on Zoom, but we didn't have that luxury because so many didn't have access.
Oh, okay.
So we tried to do what we could.
Yeah.
And then I had packets that they would come and pick up with our brain games and crosswords and just
awesome.
things like that they could come get to do at home, which isn't quite the same. But we did a few food share things where they would come and pick up brown bag lunches or whatever,
great.
which gave us the drive-through, which gave us the opportunity to see them and let them know we haven't forgotten about them, you know, that kind of thing. I guess that's pretty much how we got through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And through COVID, they learned to kind of almost use the internet in a little bit in some ways, correct?
Yeah, some did. Some really got involved with the internet at that point.
Yeah.
Still, we're not as connected as we really should be.
Right.
But yeah, it was very challenging, but it worked out very well.
Awesome.
Very well.
So now we're almost kind of back to where we once were. I mean, there were obviously still limitations in terms and things of protocol nature, right?
We're not doing masks anymore.
Okay.
We have what we call My Senior Center now, which is a computer in the lobby that they check into when they come to the Senior Center, which is great for me because it does a lot of paperwork. And on that front sheet when they come in is a COVID questions.
Okay.
And we ask, do you have any of these symptoms? If you do, please go home, don't stay. Most of our seniors, luckily, are vaccinated, so we don't have that worry that people are coming in that are unvaccinated.
Sure.
So it's great. It's great.
Awesome.
And they're coming back more and more every week, so that's a good thing.
Well, now that we're sort of kind of almost on the other side of all this, can you tell us a little bit about, just the Senior Center in general?
Sure.
Maybe for some of our viewers that don't know much about what goes on at the Senior Center, maybe just hours of operation and maybe just a little brief history if you could.
Sure. So the Senior Center is open Monday through Friday from 8:30 until about 3. Those are our programming hours. It's actually someone is staffed at the community center from 8 until 4, Monday through Friday. We have an exercise program that runs Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings.
Okay.
And that's at 9 o'clock. And that's a basic, low impact, most of it's done seated for all seniors. And they do stretching, they do weights, they do bands, and all kinds of things. It's a great program. Everybody loves it.
Fantastic.
And then I should also say that the senior center is for folks 60 and older. Just technically, that's the age limit that we've always had. So we kind of stick in with that one.
Sure.
We offer other programs too, not just in person, like fun stuff like the exercise or Scrabble or things like that. But we also offer a Shine program, which people may not know. It's about insurance. It basically is someone who is very versed in the Medicare process. They can help you apply for Medicare. They can help you know the differences between the different plans.
Okay.
They know everything. They're
So it's like a counselor,
good.
a resource?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And they will come right to the center to meet with people. You just call me up and I get you an appointment.
Awesome.
And it's a great resource.
Awesome. So you mentioned exercise program. Now, when we spoke last, you talked about just even outside of maybe some other things we'll mention, if you have, was it 3 folks, you want to create a group, they can come to you, and out of that, we had something, like a Scrabble group that's come out of that?
Scrabble group, yeah. We had a few ladies who wanted to play Scrabble at the center, and I said, okay, we'll set up a time. What time what day of the week would be best for you, whatever, and it was available. So they meet at Wednesdays at 1 o'clock, and that 3-person Scrabble group has turned into some weeks 10, maybe even 12, depending on the week. This one invited a friend, and that one invited a friend, and it just grew, and it's a great group of ladies, and they play Scrabble every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. So if you're interested in playing Scrabble or like word games, it's great.
Awesome. And then you still have, I'm sure is a crowd favorite there, you have bingo.
Senior bingo every Friday.
Every Friday.
We open the doors at 12, and the game starts at 12:30.
Awesome.
Runs till about 2:30 or 3, depending on the week, how much chatting goes on in between games.
Yeah. Now, Southbridge, as you know, is a pretty diverse community. What do you offer there for some of our diverse senior groups?
Well, we have a Latino program,
Okay.
which meets on Tuesday and Thursday mornings. They run from 9 o'clock till noon. And they come in and they have like a snack, and then they play games or they do some lessons. Severina Rios is the volunteer who pretty much takes charge of the group, and she's great. So she'll teach things like sometimes they'll do English as a second language course things. She'll teach geography or history if there's a holiday coming up. She'll explain what the holiday is and teach them all about that.
Oh, awesome.
It's great. It really and truly is great. And the people that come, they're both men and women, so it's not just women. Most of our groups tend to be, but that and bingo get their fair share of men. But they're wonderful people, and they just they're so loving and just enjoy coming. And
oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. And you also mentioned that outside of some other activities that we can obviously, if you go to, is there a website, I'm sure, or something?
The town website has our list of activities on the COA Council on Aging page.
Something that you mentioned last we chatted was about the coffee
and conversation,
which I thought was really interesting, that you have different folks.
Yep.
Right.
That's a very new group. We just did our first one last month.
Yeah.
In the past, before COVID, we used to have a monthly luncheon, and the association. Maybe can I touch on that real quick before we get into the conversation thing?
Absolutely.
So we have an association, the Senior Citizens Association of Southbridge,
right,
and they are a friends group to us. They are the ones that do our fundraising. They're the ones that help pay for the things that we don't have budgeted items for. And one of those things has always been our luncheons, or now this coffee and conversation group. So what it is we serve a continental breakfast, and we invite a speaker to come, and it's once a month on the last Wednesday of the month at 10 o'clock.
Mark your calendars.
Mark your calendars.
Who
Yeah.
have you had in the past?
The first one was the police department.
Oh, awesome.
And they came to talk about the some of the new frauds and scams that are out there. Give us some information on what to look for, what to do or say if we should get a call from a scammer, that kind of thing. So it was a great program.
Awesome. And I'm sure they had a lot of questions. I mean, I'm sure even
Yep.
outside of what
of what they came to talk
Yeah.
about. Absolutely.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Absolutely. And then next month, I'll preview this for you. We have someone coming from the Zero Fare Coalition. And what that is during COVID, Worcester Bus Company has had no fares on any of their buses,
Oh, wow.
which I just learned like a few weeks ago. But that included Elder Bus. And what this coalition is doing is they're trying to get them to continue that indefinitely.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So they're working on that, and they're just coming to speak to us about how that's going, what they're looking at as far as numbers and that kind of thing. So
that's
it's a great thing that I'm interested to hear about.
Yeah,
So
that's
there
great.
you go.
Well, see, you learn everything right here, right here in Southbridge. There's so many things going on.
There are.
And here at the Senior Center. So outside of that, I learned something, and the viewers at home might want to be, are probably interested in learning about this as well. There are a lot of things that the Senior Center offers that you may not know of. You mentioned and touched upon Shine, for example.
Shine.
You also mentioned a donation, not a donation, well, I think it is, but in turn it's something about if you need equipment.
Yes.
Correct, you can
We
touch on that.
have adaptive equipment. If people need wheelchairs or walkers or tub chairs or canes, any of that kind of adaptive stuff that maybe your insurance doesn't cover and you only need it for a while, or even if you need it indefinitely, we do get periodic donations of those things, and they are available for you to call and say, hey, I need this. And then if we have it in stock, we're happy to loan it out to you.
Awesome.
So-
And is there any other things that you also offer? I think you mentioned senior tax rebate.
Yep, that's a program from the town, and
Okay.
it's called the Senior Tax Rebate Program, and it runs from January to December. So this year it's kind of late to get involved in that, but I will be putting out a notice on cable access come November, December, that I will be accepting applications for that. I oversee that program as well. And what it is you volunteer to work for the town in some capacity, depending on, what's available for jobs. And if you put in 65 hours during the course of the year, you get a rebate on your taxes,
Oh, awesome.
real estate taxes,
Yeah.
which is, a great
Right,
thing,
it's great, for
especially for
sure.
seniors.
Yeah.
And again, you need to be 60 or over to be part of the program, and it's only one person per household that can do it.
Awesome.
So just so you know.
Well, there you go.
And I did bring something because when we talked, one of my other groups is called Brain Games, and
Yeah.
it happens every day that the exercise program happens. Actually, it happens on Wednesdays after the exercise program. And this game, this group rather, is to exercise your brain, because not only is it important to exercise your body, but it is
Absolutely.
important, especially for seniors, to exercise their brain. So I brought a few to challenge Charles here.
Oh, man.
These are called rebus puzzles.
Okay.
And you basically going to look at the words and you're going to see if you can come up with a phrase that these words,
Okay.
I'll put it to the camera too so you can see it.
All right. So we got vice plus vice. And I have to figure out
A word or phrase that might be.
vice plus vice. Oh, this is bad.
Okay, I'm going to give you a clue.
Okay.
What is this, besides a plus sign, what is that?
Add.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what are you adding?
Vice and vice. Vice adding vice.
How about advice? Ha!
There
Tricked
we
'em.
are. And there
And
we are,
this
my
is
folks.
why we exercise our brain.
Yes. Advice.
Advice. All right, this one's pretty easy.
Big, ignore. I don't know. I think I set myself up for this.
You told me to bring them.
All right. Big, ignore. So, I'm probably getting really red right now, too.
You are a little bit.
A little bit.
So, how many of both are there?
2.
Just read it with the number.
Okay. Too big to ignore.
There you go.
All right.
They're actually pretty simple.
Yeah, no.
You're overthinking it.
I am very much overthinking this.
But anyway, that's an idea of a rebus puzzle.
Okay.
And those are the kinds of things that we do.
Awesome.
This one's really super easy, and the last one,
All right.
okay?
The last one was super easy, too. Arrest over your...
Try reading it backwards.
You're over arrest?
No.
You're under. You're under arrest.
There you
All
go.
right, there we
You
are,
got
folks.
one. Woohoo.
All right, so that's the last time we're going to do this. No, well, thank you so much, Pat, for joining us, and so happy to have gotten this opportunity to interview you as well. If there's any other information as far as our viewers in terms of getting in touch with the Senior Center, is there anything that they should know, maybe with things maybe not necessarily getting over the hump of COVID? Is there still things that they should know as far as getting there, going there, calling ahead of time?
No, as long as you're vaccinated, you don't need to wear a mask if
Okay.
you come. If you are not vaccinated, we ask that you do wear a mask and
right.
keep social distance. And just come out, get involved,
Yeah.
you know. And if you are interested in starting a group, or you want to do something that we don't currently have, call me up. Let's talk about it. Let's see if we can get some other people interested, and maybe we can do that.
Awesome. Well, Pat, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
For Southbridge Community Television, I'm Charles Diaz. Thank you. Have a good one.